Good morning, welcome to part 2 of Yoga at Home, and this will be a mat class up and down a little bit on the floor, coming back up, but a lot of it will be on the mat. So have some props if you need them. I have a couple blocks, I have a strap, I have a bolster, I have a chair, and there's a little footstool here. So just any options you have at home that would help you. For the strap, you can use a belt, or a robe belt, or just some kind of a longer thing that you can use to support yourself. Otherwise, books for blocks, or just whatever you can find at home, or if you have yoga blocks, that's great. So from here, let's just warm up our knees here a little bit. We're going to start from standing. So if you remember in the other videos, you can use the other video, part 1, as a warm-up and a little strengthening. Just let your head kind of dangle here, let your shoulders shrug a little bit, let your head move from side to side, and maybe even turn here, a little side to side, turning your head. Let your arms swing, let your knees bounce. So that can be combined with this video here. So, I'm going to start out with a little balance here. I think we kind of left off with this the other time. So I'm just going to have the back of the chair available for this balance, which we will stand here, and I'm going to take the weight on. I'm going to use the chair as it is for both sides, so just bend up one knee, and then let the knee drop down, keeping your knee bent. So you find length in the front of your hip flexor there, just lengthening out. And then either hands to your hips or hands on the chair. Find a little more length here. You can bend it in and straighten. Come back to the center, take your leg out, open that knee. Find a tree pose. Or a leg resting on your inner calf. It can be toes resting on the floor. It can be higher, but not over the knee. Go ahead and step it out. I'm just going to switch the chair to the other side. I have little issue with one hip, so this makes balancing a little easier for me. And we'll go to that other side, so the other leg. Bending the knee up, and then letting the leg drop down. Just finding that initial movement in your hip, finding strength in that standing leg. Lengthen out. So take what works for you here. Last one. Knee comes in, opens out. Find that resting point. Hands to your heart. Find your tree pose. Just wondering if anybody else is dealing with corona hair these days. It's been a long time since I've had a haircut. Take one more breath here and relax. Shake it out. The next we do here is going to be some downward dog in it to get to the floor. So if you need a chair, if you need a wall, if you need a table, you can take a desktop. You can find your down dog here. Okay? I'm going to use my version with the 2 blocks. So the legs are going to be as wide as the mat. We're going to have a wide-legged, downward-facing dog. I'm going to have these blocks here underneath. Just so we start here, the arms come up and overhead. And let's just float them down and find a little bend in our knees. One more time. Parallel your feet. Find that forward bend. Hands to the blocks. Knees can be soft, legs can be straight. Bend into your knees a little bit and straight. Take a half lift here. Take your fingertips to those blocks and just engage your belly. Lift that belly. On your exhale, take your hands to your hips. Soft knees if you need. Come back up to standing. Float back up. And take our hands to our hips. Inhale. Little shrug here. Shoulders. Exhale. Float forward. Again, soft knees. Take it where you need to. If you need to take the hands to the blocks, they can be high. They can be lower. They can be to the floor. But make sure you have that nice, comfortable alignment. Useful alignment for this pose. Take one hand to the blocks and let's just take a little twist here. Exhale. Twist. And exhale. Take a twist hand to the hip. Maybe arm reaches up. Engage the belly. Exhale, take it down. A little bit bigger step. Knees down. Knees bent. Take a half lift. Inhale, lengthen your spine. You're nice big L. Hands to your hips. Come on up to standing. Maybe a little length in your spine, a little back bend. Hands to your heart. Exhale. Let's fold forward one more time. This time, if you've got those blocks, you can walk them out. Take your feet where they are. Make sure they're parallel. Walk them out longer. Your feet are your hips are basically mostly over your feet as you lengthen out your upper body here. And find yourself in this widespread downward facing dog. So you'll notice that you have less of that deep flexion of your wrists. So this is really a nicer one for keeping the weight off of your hands and still getting into a bigger downward dog, if your shoulders allow it. One more breath here. Take an inhale, and let's shift our weight forward onto those blocks, and then come down to our knees. And maybe sit on our knees. Just sit back and relax some things. Thinking we can do some lunges here. Let's go ahead and step forward. 1 foot step forward. And you can use the blocks here to walk into a lower lunge. You can have a higher lunge just with that knee under the hip. You can also curl those back toes and take a little lift, a little more of a runner's stretch. So take what option works for you. The heart is still forward. You have length in your spine. You have lift in your pelvic floor. Lift in that back leg, but you're easing into your front knee, into a deeper bend, and make sure that knee stays over the ankle here. 1 more breath here. And exhale. Let's take it back. Let's just straighten that front leg and maybe drop your back heel toward the floor. Into a pyramid. You can shorten your stance if you need to. Ease that back. But here again, you're lowering from your hips. Remember that. Finger in your groin, your thumb in your groin, and then you ease forward. Tilting that pelvis forward. Relaxing the head and neck. Exhale, take it down. And we'll step back and we'll shake out our hips, side to side, and step forward, other leg. Again, take the option of the lower lunge or the little higher runner's lunge. So it requires a little bit more strength here. We'll just take a few deep breaths. Again, check your alignment. You're easing into the front leg. You're easing into the back leg, but that back leg lifts, so you're not humped up on the floor. You're easing things down, but you've got a little lift in that pelvic floor yet. Strength, you're not just hanging out. 1 more big breath. Exhale, take it back into that runner's stretch. Again, you can shorten the stance or a pyramid pose. These blocks nicely bring the floor up to you, so you don't have to grovel on the floor, and you can keep that nice length, axial extension in your spine. Make sure your head is relaxed here, not holding tension there. 1 more breath. Exhale. Take it down to both knees. Take yourself to the back of the mat. You can have 1 block handy, maybe you might need it. And just ease your hips back into child's pose, extended child's pose for a moment. Forehead can rest down, or you can stack your arms actually under your forehead. Let's just shake our hips from side to side here. And then come up to all fours. And we'll just take a little cat-cow series here. You can start from our hands and knees. So that thinking of broadening collarbones as you come into the cow, and broadening your shoulder blades as you arch up into that cat. And from here we can take it back to child's pose, take it into chakra bakasana, which is our flowing cat-cow. And you can try and reverse that. So from all fours, you lower down forearms to child's pose. Arch up into cat. Come into cow, you lower down. Arch. And then find your cow. And lower down. Alright, let's walk one hand to one side. Find a little side stretch. Find a little lateral bend of our spine. Stacking the hands there, keeping your hips level so you find this stretch along this inner arm and side ribs, and breathe into that. And big exhale. And you might come forward like you're coming into all fours, but you're off to the side, and take it back to child's again, or close to child's. On your exhale, take your hands to center and go to the other side. Rest your head and neck. Find that kind of lateral bend in your child's pose. Up and then ease back. Child's pose. Find center with your arms. Exhale. Next inhale, come forward, kneeling plank. So crown of head all the way to your knees. Nice long line. Take it back into a nice long child's pose. Feel that stretch in your lower back, all the way from your tailbone. Inhale, come forward. We'll take a little flow. You can take a little push-up if you like. Exhale back. Strengthening here for our shoulders. Exhale, lower it all the way down now. Keep your hands where they are. A little shrug of the shoulders, a little baby cobra here, so your feet are touching, and lower down. And rest. Let's take another little baby cobra, and then press back up. Lift those hips. Take it back to child's pose. Little flow here. Inhale forward. Lower down. Let's take that cobra. Let's push back child's pose. Inhale forward. Lower all the way down. Let's take the arms a little wider here. Maybe off the mat. Maybe just to the edge of the mat. Find a little cobra here. And maybe a little more weight under the hands. Lengthen the spine here, so you shouldn't be pinching your spine. Exhale, lower down. Let's find our hands under our shoulders, curl our toes, push back to child's. Keep the toes curled there, so you find a nice stretch on the soles of your feet. From here we might come up and try another back bend. So I'll get my blocks again. You can sit on your heels and just stay there, or you can come up on your knees. So if you have a blanket, you can always get a little more padding for your knees here, so your feet can be flexed, feet can be flat, tops of the feet can be flat. So we're going to do a little modified camel pose. So taking one hand either to the block, and one hand to the hip here. So the hand can be in the hip or on the block. So take your other arm up, maybe follow up with your gaze, and then find a little ease back. So hand is resting either. Oh my goodness, I'm getting this adjustment in my spine. One more breath here. Take it to where it's comfortable. It might be that your arm is just going to be pretty much straight up in the air. Find a couple more breaths here. And then take it down. Shake out your hips. Ease back, and let's just do the other side. So take it where you like. If you want to leave the hand on the block, hand can be on the hip. Find your back bend. Find your breath. And exhale. Let's take it down. Let's find a seat for just a couple minutes here. Let's see here. We'll go back to all fours. From here, we're going to kickstand one leg, lengthen out the other leg. This hand is under your shoulder for support, and we're going to come into a side plank here. Okay, so modified side plank, you can find that lifting and lowering movement of that back leg, or it can simply rest on the floor if you feel more secure doing that, but just finding a little more strength, a little balance challenge. And then take your hand down. Let's straighten out that leg on the mat. And then swing your other leg around to the side. And then find another side plank, a little modified here. Arm reaches up. From here, we're going to slide it under, thread the needle. Maybe adjust your arm out a little bit and find a place where you can come into this twisted triangle. Maybe easing onto the forearm, maybe a block under your head. And if this is way too much, just thread the needle from all fours. And just notice maybe the stretch on the inner thigh, that extended leg out there. As you turn away and get an internal rotation of your shoulder. One more breath here. On your exhale, come back up. Rebuild everything, come back to all fours. And we'll go to the other side here. So we're going to kickstand first. We're going to find that side plank to start with. Arm reaches up, leg rests at the back, or it lifts and lowers, or lifts. You can take your gaze up, maybe. Again, for strength. Exhale, come down to the mat. Kind of get yourself back toward that all fours. But straighten up that leg, and this other leg comes around. That extended leg comes around. You're going to take that thread and the needle here. The arm reaches up, and it floats under. Maybe you can rest on your forearm and the side of your head. Or maybe you need something under your head, so just tuck a pillow, a block, your fist. Find some ease in this pose, find your breath. Rebuild your all fours, bring your leg in. Let's take a little wag the tail here. Hips side to side, head and shoulders go the other direction. And then go ahead and come to a seat. And I'm just going to go ahead and walk my hips forward. You're going to come into just I guess we'll just rock back. We'll rock back, bring our knees into our chest. Give your hips a little massage, your lower back a little massage. Give them a squeeze. and then lower down. Let's take one leg overhead. If you've got a strap, you can put the strap on the ball of your foot. Your other foot, your knee can be bent. You can extend that leg out and lengthen it out on the floor. Make that heel heavy. So this other leg, let's take a little bend and a little straighten, a little bend, a little straighten, a little bend. Find a couple breaths there. And then maybe find a way to straighten that leg a little bit. That foot is flexed. Other leg is heavy on the floor. A little stretch in that back hamstring. Go ahead and unleash that leg, take that foot to the mat, take the other side so the leg can be bent, bottom leg, or it can extend out as before. We're going to find that length up here. So if the reason we use a strap is this as far as your leg goes, it's an extension for your arm here. So you can still do some of this work. Take it where your leg is comfortably straight and then straighten. And keep it bent, and then maybe find a time when you can just extend that leg so the back of your knee moves out, away. Find that breath in the back of your leg, back hamstring. One more breath here. Exhale. Just go ahead and release that strap. Move that off to the side. If your leg's wide now on the mat, feet to the edges of the mat, arms to the sides, drop your knees to one side. Maybe take a gaze off the other way. Maybe turn that palm up on the side you're looking to. And maybe just lower this inner knee a little closer to the floor. These are all options you can think about doing. Let's turn and take it the other way. So knees come up to center and then drop to the other side. And you can try any of these options. Come back to center. Let's do it one more either side. Back to center. One knee into your chest and then the other. Hands on your knees and take your knees away. This is fine length here. Lapanasana. The legs overhead, find length, flex your feet. Point and flex your feet. Circle your ankle. Maybe do the same with your wrists here. Circle the other way. And then bend your knees again. A little squeeze, take them up. And a little squeeze. Take them up. Take them wide, bring them in. Take them in. So grab a block if you have, or a pillow. You can put it between your knees or your thighs here. Even between your knees, and have it go down your lower legs. We're going to take just some lateral, a little twist side to side. So squeezing that block, make your legs about 45 degrees or however it's comfortable. So shoulders are staying on the mat. And we're working on a little core work here and our oblique muscles here for strength. So the knees can be more bent, can be extended out. And back to center. Keeping that block where it is. We're going to take some movement here of our water wheel. I'm going to move this here. So still squeezing that block there, legs are overhead and moving out and in. Feel that core engagement here, that lower belly. Reverse that. Knees come in, go ahead and remove the block. And take your legs down. Okay, one more option with that block. Let's just tuck that under our lower back. Not under our back, but actually our sacrum. So let that rest. The bottom of the block should be probably by your tailbone. So have the support of your pelvis under you with that block, and have yourself in that bridge pose with the knees bent. You can bring the knees more comfortably close to your bum, arms alongside. Just kind of let your back melt into the mat here for a moment. For a little more strength here now, we're going to press into our feet as we lift our hips. Tuck your arms, your shoulders under your back, and then lower down. And you will have that block under. You can do it without, or you can just take just a little less lift and then lower. So take some options there. If you want to do it without the block, press into those feet and isometrically press them away. Arms are under your back, maybe. Shoulders are tucked under. Maybe you can grab your hands, clasp those hands together, but have space between your chin and your chest here so you can breathe. Your knees are over your feet. Let's take one more breath. Exhale, just let those hands go. Touch those feet together, release the knees out maybe. Arms just relax, palms up. Or maybe here you can check your posture a little bit. We're always paying attention to our posture here. Make sure your shoulder blades are tucked under your back here even. Nice breath, your spine is nice and long. And if your hands don't touch the floor, you can lengthen the arms out a little bit more. So you can find ease here as we ease into our final pose of the practice here, where we can extend our legs out. Also, you have an option, so you can extend your legs out, let those feet flop open, you can have the knees bent, lean together. If you have a chair handy, you can take your legs up. Or if you like to take just a little inversion here with the block under your sacrum, or just take your feet up. You know, we can do all these options just to ease into that final pose, which is comfortable for you, and letting yourself letting your body kind of enjoy the benefits of the practice. So maybe taking the legs up for a little inversion, A little fresh flow of oxygen here into your brain, your upper body, all your important glands and organs, fresh flow of oxygen, energy. And also here, I'll just show the option of your legs up on the chair, and your legs up the wall as well. So let yourself rest down. If you need some kind of a pillow or blanket under your head, that's great too. Just find a place where you don't have to hold anything up, you don't have to support anything. And take as long as you need here to kind of settle into the end of our practice. Easing into a not so deliberate breath. And notice how you're feeling. And stay as long as you need in the practice. In this final relaxation, for the purposes of this video, I am going to call it an end, but just stay if you're comfortable. Thank you for practicing.